Is it your intuition or is it anxiety? I think that this framework will be helpful in a lot of circumstances in life, but in particular when we are navigating relationship conflict and we're thinking that maybe we need to set a boundary, speak up for ourselves, maybe we even need to end the relationship. It can be really, really scary if we don't understand the difference between our intuition and our anxiety. Now, this is not a perfect science that I'm going to share, but I do think it can be super helpful. So one of the misconceptions about intuition versus anxiety is that intuition is always going to be calm and maybe come with a sense of like peace and empowerment. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's always the case. I think that sometimes anxiety can be a symptom of what our intuition is telling us, because if our intuition is telling us, yeah, something's really wrong here and this really isn't working, it would be appropriate to feel anxious about ending a relationship that means a lot to you. So I don't think that that is particularly helpful in my opinion. But where I do think that that can be useful is when we notice, okay, I am having the experiences of anxiety. And for everyone, that's going to be slightly nuanced and varied. So for some people, that might be tightness in the chest, that might be a racing heart, that might be an inability to eat or sleep. That might be employing some protest behaviors where you are testing your partner or you are asking for validation, those kinds of things. And then once you've figured out your personal set of physiological, bodily, and psychological responses to anxiety, what comes up for you when you're feeling anxious, then you can ask yourself, okay, I'm clocking the anxiety is happening. What is the cause? Does the cause seem to be a current circumstance that is feeling off and something that just occurred, or something that has been based in evidence throughout the relationship occurring over and over again? Or does this anxiety seem to be rooted in a what if scenario or a negative story that I'm telling myself, about what it would mean about me or what they would think about me? And once you have your best guess cause, if you determine that you think that this anxiety is stemming from evidence, and that's not to say that there won't be some disproportionate anxiety if you have a more anxious leaning attachment style, or again, if the stakes are really high of making the decision. But if you have determined that this anxiety seems to be coming from fact and data in your relationship, then there is a good chance that your intuition is interpreting that data appropriately. But if the anxiety seems to be really generalized and it seems to be coming from things that really don't have to do with the current circumstances, then you may want to look at, is that something that I need to heal because it is coming from outside of this specific relationship, but the relationship is just fertilizing that wound and that anxiety. Lastly, another tool that you can use to determine if it's intuition is to ask yourself, if my biggest fears weren't present, who would I be and what decision would I make? So if I weren't afraid of regret of this decision, if I weren't afraid that I'll never connect with someone like this again, if I weren't afraid that I'll be lonely forever, if I weren't afraid that it means something negative about me, who would I be and what decision would I make? And that can often guide you. So this is all of this is like relatively vague and amorphous because we're talking about things that we really can't quantify, but hopefully this can help you do that to some extent.